American senator who had a speechwriter, a great speechwriter, and the senator had a reputation of giving great speeches, and the speechwriter found that the senator was cheap. He didn't pay him well, and he asked for a raise, and the senator said no, and the guy said, I quit. And the senator said, well, just one more speech. I have an important speech at the Economic Club of New York. Please help me out. Sure, the guy said. So the senator was used to just reading what was put in front of him, and he had the audience in the palm of his hand, and he got to the second last page of his speech, and it said, basically, ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to this. And scribbled on the back page was, okay, you bastard, now you're on your own. What I wanted to do within the 10 minutes is to take an example of something that I'm just going to assume that many people in the room would have a rough idea of what Friends of Canadian Broadcasting is, even if that's not an accurate idea. And I'm just going to talk about an example, something that happened about a year ago, and what we tried to do about it. The example is around, well, we were all minding our own business, and then one day the Minister of Canadian Heritage appeared at a Commons Heritage Committee hearing, and the Member of Parliament for Timmins James Bay asked him a question about ads on CBC radio, and he said, yeah, we would consider that. And all of a sudden something started to happen. That was the 9th of February 2009, and there were stories in the newspaper. I've got one here by Greg Quill and a few others. The CBC put out a statement saying, we at this point had no plans to put any ads on CBC radio. And then 2 weeks later, the president of the CBC gave a speech here in Toronto where he said that they were in fact considering putting ads on CBC radio. In fact, he appeared on As It Happens, and he said, it's on the table. So a lot of people got upset about that, and some of the people who support our organization were very upset about it as well. So we decided to do something about it, and I would like to show a little video. If Nicole can make it happen. The tens of thousands of people that we can reach through our communication system, we did manage to generate thousands and thousands of emails to the president of the CBC and every member of the board of the CBC, except one Lee's up in Yellowknife, whose email address is greatly suppressed. And so, and also to the politicians federally. And there were a lot of things, of course, beyond what the Friends of Canadian Broadcasting was doing, and we were pushing them. Because all of a sudden, by the 18th of March, just 2 weeks later, they started to say, no, it's no longer on the table. And the Heritage Minister, who had said to Mr. Angus 6 weeks before that he thought that it was a good idea, said that he was against ads on CBC radio. So that's like Rumsfeld, but it's in a 6-week period, not a 2-year period. Now, what did we learn from that? I would say 5 or 6 things. These are what you are asking for. One is, and this echoes one of Megan's comments. I'm not sure she said it, and she had it up on the screen. Humor is important, and humor combined with viral techniques can really motivate people. But technology is important too. In our e-action system, people can get on there, can do something thoughtful, can hit a button, their messages go off all over the place, and then 3 minutes later they can get on with their busy lives. It's also important that you do enough research that you know what will motivate people in advance. You have to know where public opinion and people's values are. We also find that surprise is a good thing. It was just really fast reaction to something that happened at that Commons committee, and numbers matter. That's another point. Getting many thousands of people to do something that almost overwhelms the incoming data systems is important. And then finally, I guess the technology side of it, the web itself and the software, that really is a big factor. That's just one example of the kind of stuff we do. You mentioned that we were involved in support of your campaign. Many hundreds. I'm not sure if it was 1,000 people actually submitted.
1,000.
Yeah, and the CRTC doesn't make it easy to submit intervention, so we had to hire somebody at the minimum wage, not below the minimum wage, to actually sit there and process these things hour after hour after hour to get them through the 6-stage system that the Commission has. So that's my presentation. 10 minutes?
Yeah, even shorter.
Even shorter.
Very, very good. Thank you.